The backyard of the Harrington estate was alive with laughter, string lights, and the smell of grilled ribs. It was my sister-in-law Lauren's baby shower, her second child in 3 years. Everyone was there. Cousins, business partners, old family friends. I stood near the dessert table in my cream sundress, trying to look happy while cradling a glass of sparkling water. Then Eleanor Harrington, my mother-in-law, clinked her champagne flute with a spoon. The chatter died down. She raised her glass like she was about to give a toast to world peace. "Today we celebrate new life," she began, her voice carrying across the lawn. "Lauren and Marcus are giving us another beautiful grandchild. Real blood, real legacy." She paused, her eyes sliding toward me like a blade. "Unlike some people who've spent 6 years as useless decorations in this family. No children, no contribution, just taking up space." The words landed like a slap. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Lauren looked mortified but said nothing. Marcus stared at his shoes, and my husband, Daniel, stood right beside his mother, silent. Not a word, not a glance in my defense, just silence. I felt the heat rush to my face, then drain away until I was cold. My hands shook so badly the glass nearly slipped. I set it down, turned, and walked inside the house. Behind me, the music started again. Life went on without me. That night, Daniel came home late. I was already packing. He didn't stop me. "Mom's right," he said quietly, standing in the bedroom doorway. "I need a real family, Amelia, someone who can give me children. I'm sorry." I looked at him, really looked. The man I'd loved since college, the one who promised forever in a little chapel in Savannah, gone, replaced by someone who couldn't even meet my eyes. "I'm leaving tonight," I whispered. He nodded. "I'll send your things tomorrow." I drove through the rain to my parents' house 2 hours away. Halfway there, I pulled into a gas station, sat in the car, and cried until my throat hurt. Then I remembered the small pharmacy bag on the passenger seat. That morning, before the shower, I'd taken a test. 2 pink lines, clear as day. I'd planned to tell Daniel after the party, to surprise him, to finally silence the whispers. Instead, the test sat beside me like a cruel joke. Twins. I touched my stomach. "It's just us now," I told the tiny lives inside me. "We're going to be okay." I never went back to Charleston. I moved to Atlanta, changed my number, and started over. My parents helped at first, quietly, without questions. I found a tiny apartment above a failing coffee shop and got a job washing dishes in the back. Every night I baked. Cookies, pies, cinnamon rolls, whatever the owner would let me sell. People started asking for my cakes. Word sped. By the time the twins arrived, Lila and Ethan, born 6 weeks early but strong, I had saved enough to rent a small commercial kitchen. I named the business Ashes and Sugar, because that's what I was, burned down to nothing, rebuilding one layer of batter at a time. 3 years passed like pages in a book I refused to reread. The bakery grew. We moved into a cute 2-bedroom with a little backyard. Lila loved painting. Ethan loved dinosaurs. They called me Mama Bear and asked for stories every night. I never told them about their father. Not yet. Then my mother had a heart scare. Doctors said it wasn't fatal, but she needed me. I booked flights, packed the kids, and flew back to Charleston for the first time in 3 years. The city hadn't changed. Same humid air, same palmetto trees, same whispers. At the hospital, my mother cried when she saw the twins. "They look just like Daniel," she whispered. I shushed her gently. "They look like me," I corrected. Word travels fast in small circles. By day 3, people were staring in grocery stores. "Is that Amelia with kids?" I kept my head high and my answers short. Then came the farmer's market on Saturday. I was choosing peaches when Ethan tugged my sleeve. "Mama, that man's staring." I turned. Daniel stood 10 feet away, frozen. Beside him was a woman, tall, elegant, very pregnant. She clutched his arm like she was afraid he'd disappear. His eyes went from me to the twins and back again. The color drained from his face. "Amelia," he breathed. "Daniel." My voice was flat, calm. I pulled Lila and Ethan closer. He looked at their faces, his dimples, his hazel eyes, and something cracked behind his polite mask. "They're yours?" he asked. "Mine," I said. "That's all you need to know." His wife, Claire, I later learned, shifted uncomfortably, one hand on her swollen belly. "We should go," she murmured. They walked away quickly, but I saw the fear in her eyes. 2 days later, Eleanor Harrington found me in the park near my parents' house. The twins were chasing Bubbles. She marched up in her signature linen suit, pearls gleaming. "So you crawled back," she said, voice dripping venom. "With some bastard children, no doubt, trying to ruin my son's happiness right before his legitimate heir arrives?" I stood slowly. "These are my children, Eleanor. Stay away from them." She laughed, cold, sharp. "You think you can pin this on Daniel, on our family? You were useless then, you're desperate now." I didn't argue. I just walked away with my kids. That night, I called a lawyer, not for money, for truth. Paternity test, child support petition, official record. The next evening, Claire showed up at my parents' door, alone, no makeup, eyes red. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. "Please," she whispered, "drop the suit. I'll pay you, anything." I let her in. She pulled an envelope from her purse, thick with cash. "I can't be bought," I said. She broke. "It's not what you think. The baby isn't real." I stared. "Eleanor made me wear this." She lifted her dress just enough to show the prosthetic belly, silicone, straps, perfect imitation. She said if Daniel looked infertile, the family name would collapse. The business deals, the reputation, everything. She forced me to fake a pregnancy, go to fake appointments, lie to everyone. My stomach turned. Why tell me now? Because she's going to destroy me if the test happens, and she's already planning how to destroy you. I didn't take the money, but I kept her confession on my phone, recorded just in case. The next week, the Harringtons announced their annual charity gala for children's literacy. Perfect optics. Everyone who mattered would be there, including me. I bought a ticket, hired a sitter, and prepared. The night arrived, the ballroom glittered. Eleanor sat at the head table like royalty. Daniel beside her, Claire on his other side, still pregnant. I wore black, simple, strong. When the auction paused for remarks, I walked to the mic. Security didn't stop me. I donated a custom 5-tier cake worth thousands. "Good evening," I began. "Today we celebrate children, legacy, family." The room quieted. 3 years ago, at a baby shower in this very city, I was called useless, barren, a decoration. My husband agreed and put me out on the street that night. Murmurs rose. Eleanor's smile froze. I left. I rebuilt, but I recently learned something worse than cruelty. I held up my phone. Eleanor Harrington has spent decades terrified her son is infertile. She couldn't accept it, so she made a plan. I clicked. The screen behind me lit up with scanned pages from an old diary, Eleanor's mother-in-law's handwriting. Entries about Thomas's problem, Eleanor's desperate search for solutions, her obsession with securing the bloodline at all costs. Gasps. Then she turned to artificial means, but clinics leave records, so she looked closer to home. Another slide, a photo from years ago, Daniel drunk at a family lake party, me dizzy from special tea his cousin gave me. In the mirror's reflection, Eleanor watching from the shadows. The room erupted. And now, I continued, to cover it all, she forced Claire to fake a pregnancy. Claire stood, slowly. She unzipped the side of her dress. The prosthetic fell away. Flat stomach. Silence, then chaos. I looked straight at Eleanor. You called me useless, but the only thing useless was your lie. I clicked one last time. Official DNA results. 99.9999% probability Lila and Ethan were Daniels. The crowd turned. Phones flashed. Reporters surged. Eleanor sat like stone. Daniel looked broken. Claire cried quietly. I stepped off the stage and walked out. No looking back. A week later, I flew home to Atlanta with my twins. The bakery smelled like vanilla and fresh starts. Lila and Ethan ran to their corner table, coloring dinosaurs and princesses. That night, I opened the box where I kept the old diary pages and photos. I didn't burn them. I just locked the lid and slid it to the back of the highest shelf. Some things don't need fire. They just need to be put away. I kissed my sleeping babies good.